Welcome to Tagalog Lesson 10. Sad consequences of learning the wrong Tagalog. Philippines is made up of three groups of islands: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Manila is the center of business, government, and the arts. Inside the red circle are the Tagalog-speaking provinces, mainly Palawan, Mindoro, Manila City, and the other 14 cities of Metro Manila, Tagaytay, Batangas, and Cavite, and also Laguna, and in the north, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, and the rest. The provinces which speaks Cebuano or Bisaya are Cebu, Bohol, Negros Oriental, Leyte, and most of the provinces of Mindanao. Tagalog is officially called Filipino, while Bisaya is officially called Cebuano. Tagalog is not just a language, it is a very sophisticated form of art. It is pronounced with certain hardness and softness, but its ultimate objective is to be gentle, kind, and most especially cute. Tagalog is taught in elementary, high school, and college, along with English all over the country. But despite of this, the rest of the country struggle to speak it. Cebuanos are one of those who struggle a lot because Cebuano has E and U, but no E and O. So Cebuano pronounce ano or what as anu, and babae or woman as babai. This makes Tagalog listeners panic. When you travel south from Manila, the language becomes harder, and when you reach Mindanao, it reaches to the point when the language has very hard accent and intonation. Visayan language, officially called Cebuano, is also a hard accented language, but not as hard as the languages of Mindanao. Cebuano language, or Bisaya, is the exact opposite of Tagalog language. While Tagalog language struggles to sound cute and sweet, Bisaya language tries to be hard as possible. Bisaya speakers, because of their heavy accent, makes Tagalog people uncomfortable and often look at the Cebuano language, Bisaya, as an unpleasant sounding language. As a general rule, Tagalog people think that Bisaya people are of lower intellectual capacity, and Bisaya people are all domestic helpers and laundry attendants. Many try to break this common prejudice, but preventing an entire race from thinking so is like stopping the ocean tide. Here are the details of the story. Wow! Ang lupit nito pare! Tanginang katawan yan. Pwede tumingin? Anong sabi? Pwede? Bisaya ang puta! Bisaya ka pala, budong! Hoy! Bisaya! Bisaya! Laban mo nga mga damit ko! That's the end of our dialogue. If you want to learn more, stay with us as we explain to you the dialogue in details. Wow! Ang lupit nito pare! Ang lupit actually is made up of two words, ang and lupit. Ang lupit is one of the most common Tagalog expressions, and it means how fantastic, how amazing, or so amazing. So most of the people would not actually say ang lupit, but unlupit. So the word lupit is pronounced as lupet. So boys usually feel cooler when they pronounce it that way. Saying unlupet When someone is amazed or finds something fantastic is actually wrong. Using this expression to express amazement is actually one of the big social blunders of Tagalog speaking people because lupit means cruelty and ang lupit means how cruel, how merciless. But these days, no one seems to mind. Neto is actually nito. It is usually used by the younger people, and it is because they are a bit influenced by the people from Pampanga who has softer accent. They pronounce nito as neto. Pare is a word that also tells a long story. How does pare originate? When a man becomes a godfather of a child, the father of the child and the godfather will call each other pare. So in Tagalog, they are called magkumpare. So they are buddies to each other. And then somewhere along the line, almost everybody, is calling each other pare. Not because he is a godchild of the other, but because he wanted to sound cool and masculine and manly. So these days, when somebody calls pare, it means buddy or man. Oh, this is cool, man. Wow, malupet, pare. So it expresses masculinity because Filipino Tagalog boys would like to sound masculine because they're very, very scared of being tagged as gay. Tanginang katawan yan. The word tanginang is made up of four words. Puta plus na plus ina and another na. Puta and na, when pronounced together, becomes putana. So nobody says putana, but putang. So it is a contraction of the putana. It becomes putang. Ina plus na is ina na, but nobody says ina na. It's inang. So the combination of ina and na becomes inang. So putang inang means that prostitute mother is, or that mother who is a prostitute is, or that mother who is a whore is. So when a person is very angry, he says putang ina. But when a person is just slightly angry, he would say tang ina. So here the student uses tang ina. And most of the teenage boys and boys in their 20s and boys in their 30s, every day in Metro Manila, you hear them millions of times saying tang inang yan, that whore, or something like that. When you hear a person says tang ina or putang ina, it means he has no breeding, or as they call it in Tagalog, wala silang breeding, or no breeding at all, no manners. They came from poor family or a family of bad people. Katawan means body, and yon means iyan or that. So the whole statement, tangin ang katawan yan, means that one terrible body or that one fucking body. The whole statement is actually half sentence, so it is not a complete sentence. Usually Tagalog people have statements like that. They love to say things that are not complete. So as you can see, the actual meaning of the word putang ina, which is prostitute mother or whore mother, is totally forgotten almost in this statement, because the boy didn't actually mean a mother who is a whore, but he was just saying terrible. or horrible or extremely amazing. So that's what they say. Most people in Manila would say tang ina when they're amazed. They say tang ina when they're angry, tang ina when they're impressed or very happy. So he does not actually mean your mother is a whore or any mother is a whore. He is just expressing amazement. In this scene, they might be looking at someone who has a terrible figure or maybe a man with great body build or whatever. We can tell, but they are clearly amazed at something. Pwede tumingin. Here, a newcomer, a new classmate probably came to ask to look at what they are watching. Pwede tumingin, or may I see? Anong sabi? Pwede? So here, the classmates were amazed. They could not believe what they hear because the newcomer says pwede. Most Tagalog people, especially those who haven't traveled to the Visayas, those who have no experience being with a Bisaya, they get very surprised when they hear the word pwede. They find it either very awkward or very funny. So they really would react. Pwede is a Tagalog word which means possible. In a question form, it means is it possible or may I? Anong sabi means what was said, or to translate it naturally, it means what did he say? So they were wondering, what was he saying? Did he say pwede? So instead of puede, the stranger said, I mean, the newcomer said pwede instead of puede. So even if you say pwede, if you don't say puede and you say pwede, a Tagalog person would really react because he finds it awkward and funny because you are not pronouncing it correctly, and then he feels very uncomfortable. Usually, Tagalog people can't tolerate wrong pronunciations because they see it as a very incorrect thing. Typically, when a Cebuano travels to Manila for the first time, he would have many unpleasant experiences because people out there would react to his accent. They would show that they don't appreciate the way he speaks. Although most of the civilized Tagalog people would just keep quiet, those who came from the rural areas, they are the ones who really react and show reactions when you mispronounce Tagalog words. But whether it is in the city or in the province, in the rural areas, if they are children, they really will show their reaction. They will laugh at you and they will mock you. Nobody can do anything about it. Bisaya ang puta. In this scene, the classmates are mocking the newcomer. Puta here, which actually means prostitute or whore. In this particular scene, he actually means moron or the jerk. Here, Bisaya ang puta means the moron is Bisaya, the jerk is Bisaya. For many uncivilized Tagalog people, being Bisaya alone is a terrible thing. It's a misfortune. So many times in a day in ordinary conversations, you will hear many boys and many people say, ang puta. They usually use this to describe anything negative like bobo ang puta, which means the moron is dull, or tanga ang puta, the moron is stupid. Bisaya ka pala, dudong. Bisaya ka pala more or less means, oh, you are Bisaya, or surprisingly, you are Bisaya, I didn't know, or something like that. And dudong is actually dodong, and then They just exaggerate the hardness of the word dudong to indicate that he is Bisaya. And actually, in the Cebuano language or in the Visayan language, dudong is a sweet little boy, and Tagalog people would call a Bisaya dudong as a mockery.
Hoy, Bisaya!
In this scene, the newcomer is being mocked publicly. Uh, the students call him Hoy, Bisaya, and they're laughing.
Bisaya! Labhan mo nga mga damit ko.
Labhan means wash, and labhan mo means you wash. Ang mga damit ko, damit means clothes, and then ang mga damit means the clothes. And ang mga damit ko means my clothes. So the word labhan mo nga indicates that the speaker slightly orders the listener to wash the clothes. So here, obviously, they generalized that all Visayan people are laundry attendants or domestic helpers. At times, the bullying gets so severe that the victim sometimes is forced to fight back. So the biggest story about it was when the Philippine President Duterte was a student in Manila, and then he was terribly bullied because of his Visayan accent. It came to the point that he had to shoot his classmate who was a bully. Fortunately, the classmate survived, and the president was able to finish his law school, and he became a lawyer without going to jail. So the moral lesson is study Tagalog well, find the right teacher. Tagalog people can tell if you studied well or not because you are not pronouncing it well and they are scandalized. So by not studying it well, by not pronouncing Tagalog well, you show them that you disrespect the language. So they will show you how they disrespect you. How to tell a fake teacher from a real Tagalog teacher, or how to know if your teacher is fake. If you ask your teacher how to say what is your name in Tagalog and the teacher says anong pangalan mo, then he or she is a fake teacher. So stay away from him or stay away from her because he is teaching you the wrong Tagalog. The correct Tagalog for what is your name is anong pangalan mo, and it's not anong pangalan mo. So it's not hard, it is soft. Right away, stay away from the teacher because wrong Tagalog teaching is 20 times more effective than correct Tagalog teaching. Wrong Tagalog speaking is very contagious, 20 times more contagious than correct Tagalog speaking. Another, if you ask your teacher how to say, I don't like it, and your teacher teaches you that it is, hindi ko gusto yan, then you will know that he is a fake teacher because Tagalog people don't say hindi ko gusto yan when they don't like something. They would say, ayoko niyan. What happens if you say, hindi ko gusto yan? Right away, a Tagalog person can detect that you did not study Tagalog language hard enough. So they feel uncomfortable. They feel that you are not respecting the language enough. So they feel offended. It takes a few years to study Tagalog. It takes several years to study the correct Tagalog because you may perfect the grammar, you may perfect the pronunciation, but it takes longer to practice the intonation. And that ends lesson 10. Congratulations for making it to the end. We're hoping to see you in Lesson 11. Meanwhile, keep repeating this video over and over to understand every detail of the lesson. Maraming salamat sa inyo at kita tayo sa susunod.